Hello and welcome to session 2 of Night's Black Agents. This is a modified version of the Night's Black Agents rules, compressing some of the abilities, but also changing the standard resolution system and a few other things. So if you're watching this and you're a person going, oh, I want to learn how to play Night's Black Agents, this will have the feel of that, but is not a good way to learn how to play the rules necessarily. But we are in the middle of a mission that we set up last time. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is part of the Gauntlet Online Gaming Calendar, which is an online gaming club. And we do right now about 100 sessions each month. Our January's looking well over 100, and I know that there are other games going up. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. I'm going to have people introduce themselves in just one moment, but I want to mention the safety tools we're using. The X card as a kind of a fallback, but our baselines are our lines and veils. So to remind us of what our safety tools are for that, we have lines on harm to children, homophobia, racism, sexual assault, and virus, plague, pandemic. We have veils, meaning sort of fading away, on dental horror, harm to animals, sexual content, and torture. Again, the X card backs that up in case we, A, start to lean into that, but we haven't quite noticed, or we hit materials that you find problematic or objectionable that fall outside of that. Lastly, the open door policy, meaning that if you need to step away, please feel free to do that. Giving us a heads up is good, but don't have to worry about that. So with that in mind, what I'd like to have us do is have everyone introduce their characters, go through so that we can establish who everyone is, give us the elevator pitch about what we need to know about them. So let's go to second position on the character keeper, and let's start with Peter Skellen.
Hello, I'm Paul, he, him, and the character I'm playing in Night's Black Agent is Peter Skellen, GCHQ, sort of analyst, and really in the party, Peter's role is the tech man in the van. I think that sums him up quite nicely.
I absolutely think it does. And then next, moving left to right, is Henrietta.
Yes, hello, my name is Alan, he, him. I'm playing Henrietta Michaels, she, her. Henry is how we refer to her. Henry is former British MI6, where her skill set was all around disguise. She was a cuckoo. She pretended to be other people. And she has 10, generally speaking, identities at her fingertips most of the time. I am channeling, as you can see from behind, I am channeling all the clones from Orphan Black. But that is her current demeanor. Scary Henry.
Okay. And then next is Viola Poe.
Hey there, I'm Steven, he, him, playing Viola Poe, she, her. Viola Poe is ex-US Cybercom after, well, she worked as, breaking people's shit, found out that I was also doing a bit of a sideline of breaking people's shit off of the books, and I got kicked out, and I spent a lot of time under a van last session, accomplished a lot under there, hope to spend a lot of time under a van this session.
Which also taught us that you were a martial artist, that was a sudden sort of revelation of character elements there, which I loved. And then last but not least is Carl Pott.
Hello, I'm Pavel, and I'm playing Carl Pott. We are both he, him pronoun. We both use he, him pronoun. Carl had some changes to his memory. Dealing with vampires can, sometimes wipe your memory. He's now more of a wet worker type. He's still from Polish Special Forces, and his talent changed from being the boom stuff guy. He went into snipe stuff guy. because I feel after last session, this is much more the style that I wanna play.
Okay.
And yep.
Go ahead. What you were gonna say?
So yeah, Carl is from Polish Special Forces. He found out that the vampires were running the Special Forces. They turned on him. He blew them up, and then he vanished. And now he's with this team, working against the Vampiro Pyramid, whatever.
The conspiracy, the conspiracy.
Vampirocracy.
Yes. And so you did the shift of the explosive over to sniper. Were there any other changes you wanted to make in terms of shifting points around, or are you happy with the other distributions?
I thought about it, but I decided that maybe it's not good to leave specialists with just like a 2 or 1. So I decided to leave the 4 in specialist just in case I might be in a situation to need it. But yeah, just as I wrote on chat, if anyone feels like picking up explosives, just in case, so we have some heavy specialists on the team. If someone feels like picking up explosives, feel free. It's no longer Carl trademark.
Okay. Peter, are there any changes you wish to make point-wise or talent? Nope. What about for Henry?
Yeah, I shuffled some more into specialist by reducing physical a bit.
Okay.
Because that disguise is kind of essential, really.
Mm-hmm. And both you and Peter both still have 2 talent slots left to choose. And Viola, did you want to make any shifts on your points or abilities? You are muted.
Oh, whoops. I think that I am good.
Okay. So we established sort of the general backstory of the team, how they'd gotten burned or gotten involved in various matters. We established that they had worked together before. And as a team, you were contacted by a person you had worked with in the past who was reliable, but maybe a little bit on the edge sometimes, named Pordano. And he said he was involved in operation and that he couldn't give you the details, but he'd need backup potentially, and offered you a good chunk of money and asked you to come to Bucharest. On day 2 of your staying there, you got a text on the burner phone that he had given you, which essentially had a link to a news article, or rather like a police report about an accident that involved him. It also said the spy who came in from the grave, and it had 3 names on there, Loretti and let me get the other 2 names here. Of course, I'm on the wrong page.
Julia?
Yeah, Julier, Loretti, and Rastami. You followed up on those names, found that Julier is a biochemist, found that Loretti is a sort of retired person within the Roman Catholic Church who had recently been stationed in Rome, and that Rastami is kind of a name of a person who's kind of floated around in some of the circles that you've touched on, who may have been dealing with the vampiric conspiracy for many years. And you followed up on that to go to the accident, which you found had been done clearly by someone throwing a portion of a tree through the car, and that there had been another person in the car who had been taken away. And taken away rather than towards the nearest hospital, instead taken away towards a clinic nearby. Oh, the other thing that was in the text details were coordinates for what appeared to be like a farmhouse out in the woods that was relatively nearby the accident site. You opted to head to this Vertog Institute. When you arrived on scene after kind of a split and then bringing back together, you found that there was a team of hitters going in who seemed to be doing it casual way, in the sense that clearly the institution itself was waiting for them to come. You're able to track where this woman had been taken to, and that's when essentially a combination of Henry and Carl went into the building to retrieve her. And Carl eventually retrieved her essentially bags, her personal items that had been there. There was various sabotage that was done to the vehicles that were outside, checking of the channels. There was the sense that these were hired mercenaries, and there was clearly a Englishman handler that you picked up on the comms that were going on, coordinating this through various means, including fire alarms and eventually gunfire. You were able to exfiltrate this person who is still in a stuporous state, and then you headed out onto the highway. There was a pause to kind of switch drivers and things, such that I believe Peter could kind of check out the medical state of this young woman. You have the name Marta Ozurt as a name, and also Henry identified her as an MI6 agent. And so there's some potential history there. The other thing was, of course, in that car, there was a weird smell of roses coming off of her. In the personal effects, you found the phone, there was a flask, and there were other sort of minor incidental ID things in there. You then headed back out on the highway to head back to Bucharest. And as you were driving, that is the point at which the shadow passes over the cars. Let me ask, I know who is driving right now in the front car. Carl, Viola, which of you is driving in the back car?
I think it was Viola.
Okay. Then I want to start with this. Henry, could I please have you make a cool test?
Okay, so remind me, cool is an operational.
Yep.
I have, oh, sorry, that's the wrong way around. Current is 8, spends is 6, sorry. And likewise, no, that's right. Oh, hang on. How do I record this? Spends is the total I could have, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, that's the right way around then. So I am going to spend 2 on cool.
Okay.
Reduce that down to 4. And oh, have you given us a dice room?
Oh yeah, it is the. Let me grab that copy.
Is it the same one from last
It's
time?
in Lines and Veils, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, is it? Thank you. So it is. Thank you.
So roll 2d6 plus 2.
Okay. There we go. So. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, that did not go well. That even with 2, that is a 6.
So this thing passes over, and there is a moment when this thing swoops down, and for a second you see a face go past. Please mark shaken, and mark 2 stability.
Ouch.
While you are shaken, you are at disadvantage for skills in the operational category. And what is that? What is your reaction like? That the camera on your face, what do we see?
Oh, I think there's just that horror, and it is that flashback to when MI6 tried to do away with me by sending me somewhere where I ended up confronting a vampire or something I think is a vampire. But it's almost like this is now this is real. This is here. So the eyes go wide. The and this go whoa.
And it's an empty a highway in the woods. You have a chance you probably hit the side barrier that sparks as it comes back. And the sense you have is that was a swoop just to recon as it arcs back up. Viola, could I please have you make a cool test?
Okay. Oh, right, and let me open that. Let's see here. I have
You have 3 points in operational, I believe.
yeah, I will I'll spend down 1.
Okay.
Okay, that's a 4.
So you're also going to mark shaken.
Okay.
You're going to mark 2 stability. And you, when this thing comes and the brake lights and is shifting and you hit off to the side, but you come in at an angle and you definitely take out the driver's side headlight. Like it hits against the barrier, goes out. You've got just one headlight going now. And kind of jerk back from that. So
Henry is screaming into the comms, "Vamp, vamp, vamp!"
We know what the drivers are involved with right now.
Shit, Carl, do you have eyes on it?
Carl, you probably, and I'm going to assume you kind of, checking the thing, and then there's this, and the car goes, and you're not sure what happened. Maybe there was a whoosh of air past. What do you want to do?
And it's like late evening.
It's night.
It's night. Carl. Carl probably does Carl's stuff. He lowers the window. I assume we have like electric windows. And he moves his upper part outside of the rifle and is scanning the horizon for the thing.
So what do you think you have? Do you have a pistol? Do you have a submachine gun? Do you have an assault rifle? What do you think you're carrying there?
I think Carl is with the assault rifle.
Okay.
It's quite uncomfortable to use in the car, so that's why he had to move himself, the upper part of the body out, so that he has the space to operate it.
Absolutely. May I have you make your cool test now? As you get eyes on the thing, a little bit of flash of the moon on it as it passes over.
I'm going to wager 1.
Okay.
Hey, it's a 7.
7. So don't have to mark shaken, but do take 2 stability, but you keep yourself together. Do you want to take a shot at this thing?
Yeah, it's like as Viola asks, do we have eyes on it? I just open fire because that's the answer. That yes, I do.
Let's have you roll shooting.
Yeah, let's. Okay, I wanted to recon this situation, but I will leave it to someone else.
Sure.
It's an 11.
That is an 11. So you will lean out, and again, the car is moving. It's night. You're trying to spot this thing, and you will, let off a couple sharp bursts, and you are certain that you've hit it. And then there is a whoosh as something like was up and then angles down, and it rips the top of your door frame off, bends it up, and you suddenly there's blood in your eyes as you're going to take 2 harm. Essentially, cut you across the forehead, above the eyes, and blood is coming down. But you hit it center mass, but it's still moving.
Yeah, I don't think there is time for me to say something. So am I correct to assume that this landed on our car?
It came past. It
Okay.
flew past, tore, and hooked off like heading to the woods, like maybe it's going to get something.
That's convenient. So what do 11 give me? You may narrate position. I assume this is against superior foe.
Yes, it is.
So you can narrate position and
so how do you take advantage of the moment? Do you get in the back seat? How are you changing your position here to give you maybe some more cover or something?
Actually, without the door, it's quite comfortable to operate the gun. But I actually want to, if it went to the woods and it probably bought us a moment. That's what I wanted for us to have a moment for someone else to do something.
Yeah, we'll say I was planning like a 1 tick. We'll say a couple ticks. It's because it's going to take a little bit longer to swoop back to come back. Let's ask now, just to check in. Peter, what are you doing?
I'm so, correct me if I'm wrong, Henrietta has sort of gone horrendously bug-eyed. The car's skating all over the road. I'm going to sort of use both my hands. One of them I'm going to reach into my pocket, and the other one I'm going to grab the wheel and say, you need to calm down, Henrietta. And I'm going to pull out some white powder and say, take a dose of this. It'll calm your nerves. This is the good stuff.
Let's see, are you trying to use shrink?
I'm going to pick a talent. I'm going to pick the good stuff. So yes, I'll tell her that I bought this in Prague. It's the best Czech stuff they've got, and this will calm your nerves, sort you out. Get back on task. We need you, Frosty.
And remove a marked condition.
Yep. Yeah. What do you think that looks like for Henrietta?
I think that probably there's this vibe, this little kind of baggie that comes across, and it's kind of tear it off, and then just.
And your head will clear. You kind of get the car centered back. Carl has radioed that you have a few moments. You're driving this vehicle. What do you want to do?
I'm wondering about a talent. When facing a vampire, cash in a talent, and there is a preparedness. Now, stop me if this is taking it too far.
Let's
preparedness,
see.
The nick of time. Mark to reveal you took some action in advance. The examples are planted a bomb, bribed a cop, researched the route of the parade. That you now use to cover your escape. No test required. What I'm curious about is whether I have obtained a kind of mortar smoke bomb flavored with garlic.
Interesting.
Or is that pushing my luck a little too far?
That does feel a little wild, given where you were when you went out on this op.
Okay.
But if you can find another flavor of this,
I'll give it some more thought. But
okay.
I not right now, and I think that's probably right. Henry's not in the right headspace he has to be doing clever stuff.
Are you just trying to keep the car steady, or are you trying to gun it?
Going for it, I floor it.
Okay. Then in that case, I do want a driving roll.
Okay. I will spend 1 on drive to roll +1. That is 11.
So you get this centered, and you put your foot to the floor and vehicle catches and you are taking off, doing the lead. Viola, you definitely see that shaking of Henrietta's car, but then it steadies and guns it. What do you want to do?
If I'm allowed just like one comment, I probably
Please.
like watch out for low-flying branches. The thing went to the woods. Off to you.
I mean, I'm gonna try to gun it after Henrietta's car. I'm not sticking around.
Okay. This is a simple driving test, basically about whether you can keep up, whether you put too much wear and tear on the car, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'll spend 2, I guess.
Okay.
Let's see here. And that's an 11.
That's an 11. So the two of you have gunned it. There's that sort of, got that shot, and then both cars, take off, where we see the camera pull back that, shows us that you are hitting top speed. The speedometer, goes up to the top of that. And you are heading towards a town. Now you have 2 choices here. You can stay sort of on this road, which is less occupied, but maybe a little more exposed, or you could try and switch off to a section of road that is going to definitely have more traffic. That may hide you, but it also puts other people in danger.
Earl, you're the guy that does vampires. What do you think?
The question is, do we even know where we are going?
Heading back to Bucharest is all I know.
Because you mentioned something about the location of a farmhouse close by.
Yeah, near where the accident was, there was, but right now that would require finding the side road that would access that, and then heading into the woods itself.
I have to say, if Henry's in the lead car, that's not even crossing her mind. She will want cover. She will want, to meld in with a stream of traffic on the nearest busy motorway.
What is everybody else's reactions? Let's start with Peter, who's in the vehicle there, as you can see that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think after I've studied Henrietta, I'm content with the quality of the driving at this stage, so that's not a problem. So I think I'll be pulling a sniper's rifle out of a gun bag, attaching the barrel, and just say to Henrietta, keep the car steady. If it comes at us again, I want to get a shot at this. The other car behind us, concentrate on just going forwards, do whatever you want to do. You're driving, take the lead.
Before I make a final decision then on whether I take that motorway ramp or not, what do we know about killing vamps? Because my working assumption is that you can shoot it all you like. So I think, I'm screaming into the comms, Carl, can we kill it? Can we kill it?
I have no idea.
Vampirology, right?
Yeah, but how does one kill vampires in this game? I have no idea.
Right now, there are many kinds of vampires, but most require specialized methods. You don't know what kind of vampire this is yet. You don't have enough information on that. You do know that it took those shots center mass and it kept going. And you are pretty sure that conventional gunfire, while it may wallop it and it may drive it off for a moment, is certainly not going to kill it.
Cool. So before I answer, because I was already asked twice about vampirology, what do we know about vampire engagement in like outright violence? Do they do it and then have police force to cover it up? If we go to the motorway, is the vampire going to just like let go because they don't want to, like, open? If I think flying and fighting, I think a car would make a news and YouTube videos. Do they care about it or do they don't care about it?
Your experience is that, I mean, based on the things that happen to you, is that these creatures have an organization and can clean up after themselves. Now, they may not be as willing to get out, into the motorway, but until you get close to the city and the traffic gets really dense, they probably will still take the shot if it's important to them. But yeah, once you get in, like where we've got multiple cars and people probably have dash cams and we've got better lighting and that kind of thing, yeah, that's gonna cover for you. But you've got to get through another leg of the highway before that'll happen.
So then I'll probably reply negative. We don't know its clan. We just know its weakness. We need to question the unconscious. Maybe they will tell us something more. Maybe no. Right now, our best guess is to, if it comes back, I don't know, try to clip its wings so that it stops flying. Otherwise, just keep driving.
Good enough for me. I'm really glad now I didn't invest in those tungsten cross bullets with the small kind of essence of garlic inside. Somebody tried to sell them to me and it was a good deal not to go for them.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm not sure that the sniper rifle is going to have much effect. So I'm going to take the on-ramp.
Okay.
Look at Est this way.
So you will break off and you've got a little bit of distance, you've gunned it, and you will come out onto the highway. There's that kind of ramp up a little, maybe a little bit of jump as you come hitting there, and swerve into traffic, and you're merging with that. Viola, are you following? Or are you splitting the two cars?
No, I am definitely following.
Okay.
I'm not gonna, I am still shaken.
So you will get in the midst of the traffic. You're gunning it. It's late night. This is not I mean, there are a number of cars here, but it's not a heavily trafficked section of this Romanian highway. So you are, weaving in and out. People are honking at you as you do that.
No,
yes.
No. Once I find 3 or 4 cars, reasonably together, I pull in among them.
Okay. And how do you want to position yourself relative to where Henrietta takes her position, Viola? Alongside, in front, behind, a good length
I think
behind?
probably a few car lengths behind.
Our car is looking at the door, I believe. I think the vampire took our door, so we are quite a recognizable car.
So what do you think, Viola?
I think probably I'm hanging a few car lengths behind. I don't want to have us all grouped together in the mid, try to keep as blended as we can, I guess.
You will settle in here. Peter, may I have you make a observation test?
Sure. Well, let me look at that skill. Observation and operational. I will spend 1.
Okay.
Let's set that modifier. 2 dice, modifier of 1. Oh, that's not good. Total of 5.
So I've got the sniper rifle out, and you're scanning back and forth, and it's gone high. and it drops like a bullet into the back window and it shatters that window out, and you are covered with glass. I want you to take 2 health, and you're kind of knocked, so you can't get the sniper rifle at it right this second. But when it does that, it's kind of smashed into there. As soon as it breaks the window, you see it reel back.
Put the brakes on.
Okay, let's have you make a driving roll to use your vehicle as a combat weapon.
Okay. No, hang on.
Yes.
When I don't think stunt driver applies here to drive. No, I'll spend 1 on a drive roll.
Okay.
Oh dear God, that's a 6.
That is a 6. Don't forget that you can have other people, pitch in points to help out your pool. I think that this thing reels back. You go to hit the brakes, and the car behind you absolutely comes smashing into the back of your car, and airbags go off, and you kind of screech and twist and hit the side rail. The vampire will flip kind of into the air when that happens, because we'd already kind of reeled back. Viola, you have enough car lengths back to stop yourself, so you're not going to rear end on this. But Carl, you're the one who probably has the most like line of sight on this thing. It hit the back of Henry's car, reeled back. She smashed, braked. Another car rear-ended her, but this thing kind of flipped up and kind of flipped off to the side. What do you want to do, Carl? Do you want to open gunfire here in the middle of traffic?
We already established we cannot fight a thing, so I assume that. Do the car accident block the pathway? Can our car get? Can we just move them into our car and keep driving, or is the highway blocked and we will have to push a car?
Definitely gonna have to stop, get them out. They're in the airbag. You're gonna have to extricate them. It's gonna take a little bit, but yeah, you can. And other people are stopping because of this sudden traffic accident. You could continue on, or you could stop here. So I take it you're not going to open fire with this assault rifle in the middle of a crowded traffic area, then, is what you're telling me.
Not right now.
Okay.
I think I'm going. I think I'm going to just as soon as Viola stops, I'm going to just step out, take a knife, just punch, knife the airbag, and to make it easy for them to get out. And as I'm knife, and after
let me establish from the driver's point of view how Viola is handling it, and then we'll come to what you're doing at that point. Is that cool? Just to get the sequence of things. Viola, it looks to you like Carl's ready to jump out. Do you want to bring yourself up alongside? Do you want to continue? Okay,
that makes sense.
Then you can definitely do that. Get up alongside. Carl, leap out, and you're going to cut them free. I think it will be an athletics test to do this, to get them over into your car before other drivers are going to be up and in your way and interrupting and that kind of thing. Does that seem fair?
Sure.
Because you'll see when that vampire hits the median, the space between the streets after it's gotten thrown, it launches up and away. It does not immediately follow up on you.
Okay. How much do we want to wager on this?
Right now, it's mostly a question of how much heat you're going to increase this by. This is going to increase your attention and heat a little bit, but if you get stuck and delayed by these people, that's probably going to draw more attention, videos, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to wager only one.
Okay.
Seems we're burning all our pools on this one even failed attempt at dealing with the vampire. But we'll see. It's an 8.
It's an 8. So I think that I'm going to have you mark 1 stability because this is stressful as F. But you will cut that airbag, grab Henry, Peter. You're in the back seat when you were thrown against the headrest of the front seats there. What are you doing as Carl gets Henrietta out of the front seat?
I presume we've got Marta in our vehicle, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. She is in essentially patient's smock. You've got her and you've got the bag that you lifted.
Okay, and our car's pretty totaled. So yeah, I think I'll check her over, and then it'll have to be like a fireman's carry or baby carry. Sort of get her out of the car. Yeah, and say we need to get somewhere safe or in the other car because this one's totaled.
Carl has kind of led the way, cut through some of this, so you'll be able to get her over to the vehicle, get her inside. This vehicle, you will notice now for the first time, is missing its passenger side window, and the section is sort of torn up there. But you'll be able to get her loaded into the car. Henry, I assume you roll into the back seat there.
I do just want to check, do talents refresh between sessions or not?
They refresh within missions. You can choose as one of the refresh things you want to do between sessions is to refresh one of your talents.
Okay, then would you mind,
please,
if because I refreshed my specialist pool, I'd like to reduce the refresh on that, so reduce the current 3 to 2 and have refreshed on the move my talent, because actually wouldn't this be much more simple, because you said some other cars had stopped.
Yeah.
So I think that I look for the biggest car with the fewest people in it that have stopped, and I'm flipping open my wallet and saying, I'm with Interpol. This person, gesture back to Marta, being kind of carried. It's essential that we get her to Bucharest. I'm commandeering your car.
So there is a 20-something Romanian in his SUV that he is purchased because he's kind of well off and a little ostentatious. And you flick that in his face, and you can tell that he immediately panics. He obviously has something to hide, and immediately agrees. So it is, yes, in Romanian, yes. And you can all trundle into that car if you want.
We're getting a drug car, aren't we? But yeah, I'm coming. I'm getting in.
Okay. So Paul, you'll fireman carry Marta over. Viola, you scramble over there. I assume Carl, you're kind of doing, keeping your weapon down but covering people as they're transferring.
Yeah, I'm keeping a lookout if the beast is flying back at us.
I think that this is probably surveillance. You don't have to do a spend on it, but I think we see you, watching the perimeter, checking for any kind of line of sight, looking up, and you don't see it. It is clearly headed off, and you give the all clear signal, and all of you can load into this car and leave this Romanian 20-something by the side of the road as you take off. And we cut from there to cruising along the highway in the traffic, super easy, playing it smooth, rolling in.
I'm going to assume that Peter is driving, because he's got more left in his driving pool than I have.
I'm happy to drive. I can do it.
Yeah, you've got scratches on your face from the glass, but yeah, you load into that. Everyone is like, adrenaline is up, and now it's that moment where it's coming down. Both from the accident and the vampire, where you get that kind of burn off, and everyone gets a little lightheaded. But you'll merge with the late night Bucharest traffic and roll on into the city. Let's take our first break here. We'll go to the hour, and then we'll come back with what happens in Bucharest. So I have ticked the heat up by 1 tick. Heat, this is essentially represent noisy things on the highway, video capture, the vampire's attention, all of that kind of thing. You still got 2 more ticks before it gets into area where the heat might become a problem and start affecting operational picks and so on. It is possible, certainly between sessions or between missions, as you move, that heat's going to go down because you'll have changed locations. And then you can take actions to bring the heat down via disinformation or all of those kinds of classic moves. So I assume that you are not heading back to the hotel that you originally came in on.
No, I've just selected the talent safe house for evasion, which I would like to spend.
Absolutely. So what kind of place are you imagining that you want to have here?
I think that this is, it has to have a big enough space on the ground floor to hide a vehicle or two, and it needs to have decent observation. I think this is kind of not quite a warehouse, but an old light industrial space.
Used for processing something, probably have some vents up that you can climb up onto to get a higher position, that kind of thing. Has a sort of derelict look to it, but people won't notice if you have to, move the garbage aside to get in.
And peculiarly, the kind of corrugated iron that's been nailed up on the outside of the windows is surprisingly difficult to pry off.
So we will cut to the 4 of you. We have your 1 vehicle at this moment, with the top panel bent back, the window shattered out. We know that there's a sniper rifle and an assault rifle in the mix here, and this woman is still unconscious for the moment. We'll assume that the safe house has access to a network, Wi-Fi, that kind of thing. So Henry kind of set the stage for that. Viola, what do you want to do now? What do we see your reaction to this incident?
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, how, when we come back to you after, the vehicle has come into this safe house garage and you've had a chance to kind of walk and try to get your head together, what do we see your reaction, or what is it you're moving to do immediately?
I think we see Viola like take a moment, rest her head against, oh no, she's no longer driving. We moved her into that. So are we gonna black bag her, or and I kind of look over at Carl, and I kind of gesture at our Renfield here. Carl, is it like she's a, you know, can he just track her, or if we put her in a nondescript room, is that gonna, can't see her faces, is that gonna be good protection?
That's a very good question. What does my expertise with the vampires tell me about this?
Well, let's establish what you learned last time as a baseline without having to do any spends, is that if she is a Renfield, you believe that she will have a psychic connection to the vampire. It's your impression that that kind of condition can't be cured. Keeping her unconscious, if that psychic connection thing is true, may be one possibility. But do you want to make a spend off of your vampirology, off of that pool?
Yes, I would love to make a spend to know a way how we can have her woken up, talk to her, and somehow interfere with vampire being able to locate her.
Okay. So we will see you look around. You're kind of checking her out. You will realize that you're still getting that kind of weird rose smell off of her. And Peter can kind of confirm the density of that when they first got in the car and so on. And you realize when you check the flask that whatever liquid in there clearly has that same smell. And you saw the vampire reel back when it got a whiff of whatever was in the car with Henry and Peter, and you suspect that they've done something to her to repel the vampire, and probably, at least for the moment, affect that link. You still don't know who did it. You've got some names. You don't know exactly where she got the flask. You don't know how long it will last, rather. But that's clearly some kind of tool for breaking that connection or driving this thing off. Does that seem like fair info? I can't hear you.
Sorry, hard mute.
That's okay.
Yes. So yes, I answered to Viola and say, well, if this is her master or however they are called, there's a psychic connection. So, and actually, I think that the smell is like more of a repellent. So I don't know, unless we want to double with, the conspiracy theory and put some aluminium on her head to try to break the psychic connection, unless we want to experiment with this, I don't know a way to block it. So we would better wake her up quick and try to learn as much as possible with the time we were given. Now you are muted.
Cool. And Peter, you like boring shit, right? I toss you the receiver for the bug. I got a bug on one of the goons that was at the place.
Cool.
Maybe you can pick something up off of them.
Yeah. At least we'll be able to track them with it. So yeah, I'll tune in a radio and start getting the lowdown on that. Reference this flask. I'll turn around to you, Viola, and say, do you think you can weaponize that in some way? Have a look at its chemical breakdown. get the lowdown, try and
Oh.
weaponize it?
I can take a
You know,
look at it, I
chemistry. I mean,
guess.
yeah, you should be able to analyze it and at least try
Yeah,
and.
I have chemistry, so I could analyze it. Yeah, at the very
Cool.
least.
So let's start with Peter. Peter, what do you want to do operationally here?
I'm gonna fire this bug up that
Okay.
Viola gave me and try and at least get a pinpoint location on it. So I really want to know if they're ever going to come near us, where they are, and listen in, see if I can get any chatter off this bug. You know, see if they're talking about us, that sort of stuff.
Let's have you make a surveillance spend.
Okay, spending a point. Yep, spent a point.
We're like a good hour and a half from the time that you were at the Vertog Institute. And at least for the moment, you'll be able to identify that this person has moved into Bucharest proper. You think with a little more time, you should be able to get the district of the city that they're in. They are clearly like have been dressed down, and they're at that moment talking with some other people on their team, and you will hear them say, yes, they've got the, I don't know, it's big, it's I don't know who this is, maybe, I don't know, but they called out the Lupatori. They're out in the streets, got the train stations, airports, everything. I don't know why. I don't know, how important can she be? But Sinclair is pissed. He shot Georgie in the face. And it would have been me, but I didn't tell him that I got knocked out by somebody. I got up before they saw that. And then there's just like the sound, you hear the clink of glasses and so on, and they kind of go to more muttering. Like clearly they're on-call operatives, but they've been called up in the last 24 hours. They've been rousted for something. They were told to get this woman from the hospital, to not kill her, but to kill anyone that attempted to get in their way, or clearly we're trying to rescue her. They had the sense that they were told that there were going to be some people maybe trying to rescue her, and that this woman is clearly important in whatever organization they're part of. Does that seem fair? Let's roll back to Henry.
Sinclair. I'm just wondering, and this, we know there was a British voice on the comms with that group.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speculating at the moment that is this Sinclair. And I'm wondering which of my investigative skills might, I mean, high society is no high-ranking persons. Streetwise is knowledge of gangs, mafia, blah, blah, blah. I just don't know which one would be best for, my MI6 background and whether I ever came across a Sinclair.
I think Streetwise or Tradecraft is appropriate for this. And just, I think the basics that you'll get without a spend, and I'll let you make a spend on this if you wish, is, you've heard that name associated with Eastern European, not an MI6 operative, but somebody in another service who you think work like counterintelligence or counter gang, that kind of thing. Do you want to make a spend?
Yeah, I think so. I will spend one from that pool, take it down to 6, and roll 2 dice. 6 plus 1.
Oh, no.
It's a 7.
But you don't have to spend this investigative skill.
Oh, of course it is.
You just make the spend and magic happens.
Yeah.
Sinclair works for a branch of MI5. He's essentially an Eastern European specialist, supposed to be a specialist in handling various Eastern European gangs operating in the UK, but also working with Interpol in the theater, managing moles in their operations, all of that kind of thing. Has a kind of unpleasant reputation. Got dressed down earlier this year when a Romanian gang got busted in the UK for having run a multi-year, essentially, robbery ring, stealing things out of the UK, get like high-tech things. They cut into the walls of a warehouse and stole stuff out. But like when you kind of recall that they also stole a bunch of rare books. And took off with those, and so that was like a weird detail in that. But he's still in the field. Does that seem like fair info? And you can get a picture of him. So let me.
Right. Well, I've begun to fill in if he is indeed the British the handler, then I filled in the wrong box. But it's the thought that counts.
Yeah. So I'll drop it in that the box that you set up there. Let me grab an image. Hang on, and I'll get your picture for it. Browse. I should pull this up earlier. Modern characters. NBA. Operation 1. That's Sinclair. He's essentially parents born in Hong Kong, emigrated before the handover, that kind of thing.
I've put a speculative Sinclair under the overheard handler of Kongs on raid.
Yeah,
I think
that's this. It is. They are the same thing, so you can clear the other.
Okay.
Let me check with Viola, and then let me come to Carl and see what Carl's doing on the ground here. So Viola, what's your step here?
I guess Viola is did I go with that? Yeah, I think Viola is looking into like doing some research into the Vertog Institute, because I think if I recall, we went into the Vertog Institute pretty blind as to like the background of that
Absolutely.
thing. Yeah, I'm doing some research into the Vertog Institute, seeing if I can find out who their backers are, if they have any ties to any organizations.
So I think that can be a spend from the academic to represent research or criminology, or even accounting, or it can be from technical if you have medicine. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll spend from academic.
Okay.
I have criminology and research, so probably research is what I'm spending from.
Sure. So make that spend. It is clearly a private institute that operates in some shady areas. They clearly take in private patients in a way that allows them to bypass some of the Romanian medical and healthcare reporting lines. And you can see that they get their some of their money from some criminal gangs operating in Romania, like high-level ones, including the Lupători, which is one of the big Romanian gangs operating out of Bucharest. And they clearly have a chunk of money. Like they're a clearinghouse for injured people or treatments that need to be done, on the quiet. And you can kind of get a whiff of that money. The Vertog himself is the guy that ducked down when Carl busted into his room. He's still alive. And you will note that they have filed no police report. No alert has been sent up for that. There's no chatter about any kind of break-in at the Vertog. You have a sense that they probably run a pretty tight ship, and people know to keep their mouths shut. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Carl, what are you doing? Are you going out to check what word is on the street? Are you working with this woman? What are you doing?
So Carl went to the 24/7 store around the corner, bought some coffee, some cinnamon, some chocolate, and out from the kitchen comes the smell of everyone's favorite coffee, as much as it can be done in the field, not in a coffee shop. Whoever likes soya milk gets some soya milk. Whoever likes cinnamon gets some cinnamon. He hands everyone coffee, and then comes the unpleasant thing, because he grabs the first aid kit and he says, now let's get those wounds tended. And Carl goes person by person, tending their wounds, sewing cuts, applying some medicine.
Absolutely. So on everyone who's taken harm can clear one harm from stability and physical harm. And do you want to clear other people's harm further than that, Carl?
Yeah, I'm looking at who else. So I think Viola is fully healed. So I think it's only me and Peter. Yeah, I would like to make us go to full health.
Okay, so that's a 1-to-1 spend to clear however many health you want to clear for them.
Yeah, I will clear one for myself and one for Peter, so that we are at full health.
Okay. Yeah, and you've got the meds, you've got the patches, you get that set up, you do the field dressing on that, get wounds cleared, changed, get them all cleaned, pick the last bit of glass out of Peter's cheek, and finally get a chance to really clean up the wound on your head, which even once you get it patched and the super glue to seal the wound kind of thing, it really hurts, more than you think it should.
Well, this seems dangerous. I will probably go to the mirror and take a look. Is there some vampire? I don't know. Maybe this kind has some kind of a poison in their claws. I don't know. So I'm going to go to the mirror and take a look at it.
Yeah. You'll check it. You'll clean it out. You'll dress it again. And as much as anything, you think it's a little bit psychosomatic, a little bit in your head that it is. But you'll get it patched up. It's going to look a little odd, of course, because you have no hair to pull down over that. So you're going to probably have to get a hat to wear.
So if medicine cures health, how do you address stability?
Shrink.
Right. So then in which case,
And you'll clear 1 point of stability loss, but additional ones will cost a 1-for-1 from shrink.
okay, then I will spend, oh shit, no, I can't. That would use up all my disguise options. No, I think that Viola and I are going to have to live with 1 lower stability.
That seems reasonable. I've got no problem with that.
So just so I'm clear,
Mhm.
I was on 4 stability, now I'm on 5.
Yes.
Can I help Viola and Carl to also get from 4 to 5?
Yeah, everyone will automatically clear 1.
Oh, automatically clears 1.
Yeah,
Okay,
as long as you have a chance to sit down and somebody can kind of talk to them and have a chance to get some space, everybody clears that automatically. Carl kind of triggered that for the go round on it.
Okay, can I suggest, while we're eating these Cinnabons and having a good coffee that Carl nicely provided, that we come up with a plan of action, who's going to do what we're going to do. So what do people think?
Well, I have to say I'm interested in the names in Podano's message. So Julie, Loretti, and Rostami.
I have to pause here before we go further because there is a detail that I just remember we left off because it happened right at the very end. There was a text message and a voicemail on her phone that Viola was able to extract that had a voicemail where somebody was clearly in the middle of a fight. And then as that cut out, there was a text that said, "Get to the church." And it had a picture of a fairly famous church in Bucharest.
Oh.
Okay. So, let's put the church down as something we need to do, and let's not that override exactly what we were going to do. So, you want to investigate the names of these people as a group. How do we want to do that?
I was thinking of spending something on my network.
Okay, so that's something you could investigate. You could do the names if need be.
Yeah, can I just be a bit, because I'm always a bit confused about the investigative and the general.
Sure.
My network is in my general skills, is my general. I suppose I could spend tradecraft or streetwise to get some word on the street about one of those names.
Exactly.
As an investigation.
Network is like on the fly, making connections, establishing contacts on the fly. Like if you were like, I need a guy here that knows this thing, that's a network thing. But yeah, for what you're talking about in terms of investigation, interpersonal skills or research, or if they're in a particular field, like because Julio, is a biochemist, a chemistry spend, those are all ways to investigate. Yeah.
Fine. Well, then I'm thinking I would spend, I don't know, I'm interested in the priest, I have to say. So I'm thinking high society or tradecraft.
Okay, so you want to investigate those names.
Well, I'll go after the priest.
Yeah, you'll go after the priest. Viola, apart from trying to weaponize that stuff, anything you want to do?
I think that that was also something I wanted to do. No, I think that I took care of the thing that I wanted to, which was look up the well, I do bring up the name of the organization, the Lucatore.
Okay, clearly was somebody with some sort of underground knowledge, may be able to maybe set us up with them. This is just me thinking out loud. Anybody else can throw in here. But so we've got the Lupatori. They may require some investigation. Carl, anything you could think about that we need to do as a group? So this is not assigning tasks yet. This is just sort of the whole, you know, we've got that bit of glass and we're writing down various things on the glass saying, you know, this is going to need some kind of action.
Yeah,
Anything?
probably we need to wake up and question Marta.
Bingo. I would totally agree with that one, Marta. So for that one, I was thinking, you know, that scene in Mission Impossible where they wake up somebody in the hospital and it's a completely false scene on the TV. You know, and it lulls the person into like spilling the beans. So, you know, maybe somebody with questioning could question her, but we could lower her sort of resistance to questioning, as in somebody else could get a spend in there by setting up some sort of false, maybe some sort of forged sort of TV sort of newscast. You know, that's my thinking on it. Anybody else chip in on that? You know, it's about, instead of one person chalking down all their points, if people can chalk in points here and there to add to a role, that would help.
My one concern is that if she has a psychic connection to the vampire, do we want her to see our faces?
Well, see, we could pull in Henrietta here. You know, she could put on a false moustache and a doctor's coat and pull off you know, she might be the only person we need to have in the room. I don't know if Henrietta can question. I don't know if Carl's a better questioner. We could put a false wig on. You know, we can set these things up, definitely. That's a good idea, Viola. You know, maybe we don't want to, you know, give our faces. And clearly the church is someplace I think we need to go. So maybe we need to do a bit of surveillance. You know, possibly, you know, I could take the vehicle and stake it out, possibly. Yeah, and the Lupatori. Clearly, you know, maybe somebody needs to at least connect with them, maybe through some sort of like dodgy network. I mean, is there anything else anybody else wants to investigate?
I think that's a good summary of the leads, to be honest. I suppose the question is then order. Given that at any moment the vampire might find her again, and therefore she's our most volatile resource. Now, look, this is all based on the assumption that he wants her because she's valuable to him. We don't know that for a fact, but it's a worthwhile assumption. So I think we have to deal with her first.
Okay, so do you think the idea of this sort of false setup, that she suddenly wakes up?
You know, Dr. Cosima is available at any point.
And maybe somebody could help out with some maybe forgery, generate some sort of false scene to lull her.
Since we are pulling from Mission Impossible, I think it'll be cool for someone to have the facial mask, because they always wear the facial mask in Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah, the face mask machine to generate a false face. Good call, Carl.
Yeah,
like it.
Of the Pordano, who will say, "Oh, we finally made it to the safe house," and then I don't know.
Yep. So should we attack? When I say attack, I don't mean actually physically, but as in the first thing we want to do. Let's deal with Marta, see what we can get out from questioning her. You know, so I think, Lowell, we're going to set up this scene where we're going to control how she wakes up.
I think, I think that because you've established this safe house, normally I might have a preparedness roll, but you've spent the talent to set this up. So I think, given that the bare bones that you're trying to set up, essentially a hospital gurney, medical looking room, very basic thing, I don't think there's any kind of spend for that. If you get her, you know, in the bed, she's still got that smell of roses that it's certainly less, but it's still present there. And you can get her put away, and then you're coming in as a doctor, Henry?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
And it's kind of just sit by the bed and just, you know, tap her wrist to, you know, just get her to come round.
And
smelling salts.
Is someone else in the room with you?
I would suggest not, you know. I think that somebody needs to be outside observing. And of course, in my left hand, there is the the syringe with the the Mickey Finn in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you want to guard outside? Maybe.
I think we want to create the impression of non-threatening. I think is what we're going for. And you've been involved in a in a terrible road accident, and we need to know more about what happened.
Sounds good. So sort of like Viola, maybe as a nurse nearby.
Why should both the women be the medical professional?
Because
why can't Carl be the nurse?
Yeah. Carl looks like a good psychiatric nurse. That's for sure.
And you still
look like a medical nurse, but he does look like a psychiatric nurse.
So I think that's the line we'll take, Lowell.
Okay. So I think it will be a bit before that. Clearly, whatever she was drugged with wears off. And you can see that even beyond that, she's clearly not in good shape. Like when she comes to, she's clearly still very groggy, and she kind of holds at her throat and kind of looks around, and she's an agent, because the there is that moment where she tries to assess the room, and then she kind of tries to fall back into standard mode, and he's like, where am I?
Carl is probably there, just giving her a glass of water, and then shouts, "Doctor, she's awake."
At which point, Dr. Cosimo will arrive, and will fuss around her. We need to take a couple, take a pulse, temperature. Do you remember what happened?
No, I don't.
Bullshit detector.
She honestly right now, like, she's trying to compensate, but you can tell that she is desperately trying to figure out what has happened to her. Her reaction, the way her eyes are going, if you make that spend, like, she's clearly lost quite a bit of whatever has happened. She's trying to keep that panic down, but it's significant enough that is bleeding through her facade.
That's a remarkable perfume that you're wearing. What reaction do I get from that?
She's like, and what? And like she kind of sniffs at it. And she's like, what is that? That's not mine.
Oh, we assumed that you were wearing it. Someone else was brought in with you, and unfortunately, he's still unconscious. You couldn't give us a name for who else was in the car with you, could you?
What car?
Oh, Jesus. Do you remember anything about being in a car and then there being a car accident?
And I don't feel well. What day is it?
What's the last thing you can remember then? Maybe we can work out what's happened.
I was in Berlin. This is Berlin, right? No, you're not speaking. Am I back in Britain?
No, we're at the International Hospital. They couldn't find you on any German records, so we assumed that you were.
If you talk to the British consulate, if you take my passport there, they'll vouch. I'm a trade representative.
But unfortunately, in the car crash, you were got out, but everything else was lost. The police got the people out first. So you were in Berlin, and when was that?
Look, I need you to call a number for me.
Yeah, I'll take that down.
And she gives you what you know is an MI6 call-in number, but it's like from 3 years ago.
Okay. What's the last event that she can remember?
She talks about the vague haze of Berlin. You have the sense that she's trying to, like, maybe she's getting something from recent things. She goes, am I, but if there was a car accident, I know there was something that was just recent. I don't know why I'd be driving. I'm sorry.
I've got culture.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if I can, on the basis of having it without necessarily wanting to spend it, I have to say, I can insert something from some events that I know went on in Berlin this year, last year, the year before that, 3 years ago. And I say, do you remember any of these events? I'm trying to work out if she has been out of this for 3 years.
You will literally start kind of running the questions through, and I think you'll be able to establish that she's got a strong memory of that Berlin, and then a major gap, and she has some vague sense of something happening before this accident. Vague sense. She goes, I was in a car. I was drinking. I wasn't driving.
No, you weren't driving. Can you remember who was driving? Can you describe who was driving? Was it a man? Was it a woman?
And she, you see her kind of like clearly like she recognizes that maybe this is not a piece of information she should give away. Like she kind of stops there.
All we want to do is help.
A negotiation, or
I'll spend to negotiate.
Okay. She goes, I think I was with a man named Pordano.
Okay.
He was helping me. We were supposed to meet some other people.
Okay. There was a piece of paper found near the accident which had some names on it. Would these names mean anything to you? Does the name, because we're trying to find anyone who might be able to help us, identify what's happened. So
All right.
Does the name Julie mean anything?
It sounds familiar.
What about Rastami?
Yeah.
What about, and this one's unclear. It starts Lor.
Loretti? I just
it could be Loretti. Yeah.
I don't know what the context is.
Okay.
But
the other
she kind of
thing
closes her eyes, and she kind of you concentrate, and then she kind of opens them like suddenly she's scared.
Okay. I will spend from questioning to work out what has frightened her.
She said, I must have just had a flashback or something. When I closed my eyes, I just saw something like, I don't know, I don't like eyes or something looking for me.
Okay.
And yeah, like she actually kind of starts to she kind of surprised at herself. Like she's a trained agent. She's kind of shivering, and she kind of stops. She goes, I need to go. I need to get out of here.
Okay. We just need to make sure you're okay. So just rest for the moment, and we'll make sure you're okay. And that's when I think I just tap the drip to just put her back under.
Okay. It is probably that moment when she starts to go out that she kind of looks at the drip and looks at you, but she's too weak to fight it. and then she goes back. She goes under.
Okay. Okay. What do you want to run with that then? Carl, Viola, what are you thinking?
We still don't know anything.
Well, everyone turns to Viola then.
But maybe it's worth to check this house that was outside of the city, which was mentioned.
Mhm.
And maybe they were going there, and the other three are there. I don't know.
Time being of the essence, the obvious thing to do in this circumstance is two of us go to the cottage and two of us go to the church, leaving Marta here.
Well, at least if
See,
she gets
don't
stolen
tease me
back,
like that, Alan. You just get me so excited when you say things like that.
at least if she gets stolen, nobody will be here to intervene.
And to be honest, that might be no bad thing.
No. Okay, so let's divvy that up, that task. So surveillance looks reasonably an important technical skill. So myself and Carl are skilled in that.
So that would suggest a split, wouldn't it? That we take
Yeah, I think
surveillance in both
the
directions.
church may require a bit of social, as I don't think the cabin in the woods is going to require. You know, if we get there and it's a rave, I could clearly be wrong. But my money is not. That's a bit more sneaky, that kind of stuff.
Okay, well, what about shuffling the pairs then? So Henry and Carl will go to the church. Viola and Peter go to the cottage. That works for me because I think the cottage is much more dangerous.
Yep, we'll go to the cottage.
Okay.
Before we split, I wanna ask for two things. First,
Sure.
how is it possible to get some refresh in the session by spending investigate? There was something like mentioned over this. And second thing, how can we treat Viola from being shaken?
So let's look at, so treating Viola from being shaken is a shrink test. To do that, with, you know, a 7 and 9 will get it, but we'll take a little bit more time. 10 plus, get it clear. If you want an additional refresh, let me go into that. You can opt to take time to rest, and then you can refresh a point from your investigation pool and up to 3 points from general pools, or trade one of those out for refreshing a talent. But that means time passes and the bad guys move forward.
I should note I only have like 2 spends left in my operational anyway.
But there was also saw something about, I don't know, spending something from investigate to refresh. Because I'm apparently full of...
That's called like a tactical spend. If in a situation, in a particular situation, you can justify why a investigative skill will give you an advantage with like an actual general ability, then you can negotiate like, hey, I think I want to set up like here we've got chemicals here. I want to do a chemistry spend to, you know, give me, 3 points in a fight pool to spend that. So it's very circumstantial for that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's sort of the creative problem solving using those investigative skills.
My own view is that we're on the clock.
But there's also the topic of weaponizing the, I don't know, rose smell.
Well, look, I want to go and check out the church. I'll be honest with you. If Viola wants to stay at the safe house and do some chemistry, fine by me.
What pulls at you, Viola?
I mean, I'd prefer if like that, but like to actually be out doing something as opposed to just hanging around while other people play.
And I do also suspect that I think you can put enough together that whatever this rosewater thing is, it's what's being used to dampen the vampire's influence, control, and contact with her. So if you're using it up weaponizing, I mean, you may want to give her more to keep that down, or you may want to save it in case somebody gets bit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think I'd probably give her a bit more just if we're gonna leave her alone. But I try to save some for whatever we're gonna be doing.
Okay, so I think it probably it's not that much in there. About half the flask will go in, and when you do that, you'll definitely that smell of roses will increase in the room again. You'll keep the trank drip and restraints, and we assume security cameras, stuff that will send alerts to your phones. This is all standard operating procedure for this. And then the two groups will split. Henry, who's going with you to the church?
I think we said Carl because I need the surveillance.
Okay. And then Viola and Peter heading to the cabin in the woods. Mm-hmm. Let's take 5 for our second break, and then we'll continue. So with the recording reactivated here. So I'm going to change the shift is putting the church on hold. And the whole group going to check out the cabin. Let me mention, so the church itself, I think I mentioned it before, but just to remind, is, let me get the name of it here. One second, sorry. I have notes in a couple of different places. The church is I mentioned is the Gellert Hill Cave Church. It's a sort of historical a church here. It's actually a small church and then a series of underground caves that have shrines. It was used as a field hospital during the Second World War as kind of a bomb shelter kind of thing. It is open to all comers throughout. The recon that you got on the farmhouse told you largish farmhouse, a barn, very isolated out in the woods there. It does require essentially driving back path towards the Vertog Institute, probably taking a slightly different route, remapping, making Google change the little mapping thing, which is always a pain. Google doesn't want to do it. And at some point, though, there is essentially one road through the woods that goes up that way. We'll assume a fresh vehicle picked up. That's simple, easy for you to do. You have that money from the duffel bag that you can drop on that without a problem. One vehicle or two?
My inclination is always for 2.
Yeah.
2 vehicles, drive up. What are you doing approach wise? Like you're eventually kind of turn off. There's a post box but then it's a long drive back to where the farm is, through the woods, crunching gravel. How far do you want to stop away? Do you want to drive up?
I think I'd take Carl's advice.
I'm going to throw up a flare drone. So get a bit of infrared going, heat signatures, looking for that down the path, just in case it's an ambush. There's people, possibly hidden. Infrared should help spot them. So yeah, I'd pull up, a good 500 meters short of the target. At low speed, we shouldn't be heard, creeping up at that. And, as long as we're in visuals of the cabin, hopefully from 500 meters away.
Can I suggest we got two people with military science? This is definitely not I don't do field work.
Let's start with that surveillance, and then let's work off of that info. So we stop a ways away to do that scan. Peter, if you'll make a spend off surveillance.
Done.
You'll pick up that there are 3 vehicles, engine blocks cooling down. They've clearly been here for a few hours. They are tucked back in the woods away from the farmhouse. You get standard house signatures, the like clearly wood burning stove, that kind of thing. But why would there be that many people at a farmhouse, and why are some people in the barn? And why are people stationary? There's about 9 people.
Let's back check that bug that we planted on those vehicles. That's not registering anywhere near here, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay, that rules that out then. So yeah, we've got why there are people in a barn sort of in the early hours of the morning. That is quite unusual. Yeah. So I think this is a bit of infiltration, possibly. What do others think?
Survival would allow us to identify some threats.
Do you want to make a survival spend?
Not
sure.
something I'm very good at, it must be said. But I did the standard course at Sarat, and they told me that.
Sure.
I can make a survival. Oh, go ahead.
Carl?
I'm happy to spend some survival.
Okay. Let's have you make a spend off of that then. You get your glasses out, kind of move the woods, checking things out. There are clearly tracks around. There ought to be dogs out. Like there's tracks that tell you that the farmer keeps dogs. And if there are strangers in the house, they'll be barking. You suspect that the dogs have been dispatched. It looks like the people who are set up in the barn are not experts. Like if they're not snipers, they're sitting there. They're kind of waiting and watching for noise or arrivals or that kind of thing. The people inside seem to be arrayed that same way. It's a little sloppier than you would have handled it. And I think with that, you can also pick that there is a decent point of entry to get up close by the house. What do you think that is? What's the kind of way in that's a blind spot for them?
And it's a large farmhouse with like fields around us.
Probably some fields around. It's in the woods, so there are probably some close by gardens and things like that. But the main fields are probably a little further away. There might be a livestock area, the barn there.
Wait, I'm looking for the word. I think it's a creek.
Yeah.
A small creek going from the forest that is used to hydrate the fields. It's not very nice. Someone will have to make their feet wet, but if you go in the creek, it's probably like a little bit lower. The guys in the barn will not notice you.
Yeah, it keeps you out of line of sight. It actually probably comes up into like a drainage thing, and if you want, you'll have advantage on an infiltrate. Do one or more people want to move up, or does people want to do additional recon here?
Just one question: can we fly the drone and just like take a look at the cars parked in the forest plates? Are they Romanian? Are they from all around the world? Just to give us maybe some hint where they are from.
Viola, I think you can do that pretty easily.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. What would this be?
This would be, in this case, a spend from like notice.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll spend that.
Okay.
Because there's not really a mechanics or anything like that.
Yeah, usually if you had surveillance, I would lean towards surveillance in that case. So you'll get back there, Romanian plates, same make of vehicles as the guys at the Institute that arrived. Like the same motor pool, you're guessing. But you can certainly take down those plates, run them through, and they clearly kind of run back on a quick check through to a dummy corporation, that sort of thing. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
You guess they were here, probably arrived like around dusk, nightfall, and parked a ways away. Given what the drone can see about like footprints and things, they probably snuck up on the place. What's
Okay, so it sort of sounds like these guys have salted it and they've taken it over. So yeah, I'm going to set myself up on the roof of one of the vehicles. Hopefully I've got good oversight. I'll set up there with my sniper's rifle and provide some overcover. Is this the time, people want to go in and do some stuff?
Sure.
Our operational colleagues are on the front foot here.
So, Carl, you're leading to infiltrate. Is anyone going with Carl up to the building?
I think that Henry will locate herself where she can intervene in the barn if it looks like that's going to be, the kind of.
Okay. Yeah. So Carl will mother duck you along a ways up, and then you kind of set position while Carl continues on. Viola, you're staying back?
Yeah, I think I am once again. All these poor people. I'm going along, making certain to cut some gas lines.
Carl, this is an infiltration role. We'll do it for essentially your role will cover for the group, and you're rolling it with advantage given the info that you picked up.
Yes, I'm just like trying to picture it. So because I'm horribly bad at this. So do I get the feeling that someone is in the barn, not connected with the people in the house, and they are just from the barn observing. Is anyone arriving at the house?
It's a good
Are people
question.
here the same group?
You have the sense that they've put 3 guys out in the barn to kind of keep an active lookout for people coming in. They are clearly associated with the group that's in the house. And given what we say, you know, there are 3 guys in the barn and then 4 or 5 in the house. You guess that they have comms. You've seen that before, but they're definitely together.
Sure. Yeah. If this is so important, even when with advantage, I think with advantage, I'm going to wager 1.
Okay.
We are running a bit low on the general. Let's wait. The dice roller. 3 dice. So that's a 9. Yes.
That is
Not
a 9. So you will come up. You at a certain point, you point Pravila to brake so that she can make her way over to the vehicles. Move up further, point at a point, you know, do the gesture for Henry to set up there to cover you on the barn. And I think you will get up and you do that thing where you kind of slip into the barn. And you're right by a guy who looks up. The other 2 are at the other end of the barn. Guy looks up. He's just about to relieve himself in a bucket there. And he kind of like startled as you pop out of the darkness. Does that seem like a reasonable complication for the moment?
Yes.
How do you want to deal with him?
Again, I'm very bad at this. So I'm asking other players, do we suspect those are enemies, so it's like kill, or do we expect those are allies, so it's like don't kill?
I mean, I don't think we know what their status is. We think they're with Sinclair.
And
Sinclair's a bad guy.
They're clearly associated with the same group you fought at the Vertog Institute.
They may want Marta, but it will not be for good reasons.
If in doubt, kill.
Or be killed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As Yoda says, do or do not. No try or try not.
Yeah.
Now, here's a case where I would let you, if you wanted to, say that you have military science as a background. Like you've got that investigative skill. If you want to do a spend from that pool, like spend 1 from your military science, I'll let you, get 3 points to refresh your physical or your operational. And you can spread that out essentially to represent the tactical skill with which you approach. Does that seem cool?
Awesome. Yes. I will gladly do it. So I'm going to refresh 2 here and 1 here. That's cool. Well, I think we see the guy spot Carl. Carl just like lets the gun hang on the sling, takes like a biggest knife, and just like rushes forward to put the hand on the guy's mouth, and just like knife from the bottom.
Okay. This is combat against an inferior foe, a foe in an inferior position. Let's have you roll with fighting.
Yeah, I'm going to spend 1. Drop the dice. It's a 7.
So you can choose to deal harm, which will take them out, force them in a direction, or pin them down helplessly.
I think I'm totally cool with not killing him. Maybe he like falls backwards and I'm just like pin him helplessly.
Okay. You want to just knock him out then?
I think it's like I'm with a knife and I'm just like waiting because I want to like hear what the guys are talking. I'm just like here to gather intel. So yes.
Okay. Viola, you get over to the vehicles. Do you want to sabotage those?
I'm actually thinking, rather than sabotage them all, I'd like to try to sabotage all but I'd like to basically my thought is I'd like to sabotage all but one. The last one, I want to leave it looking like I was midway through sabotaging it.
Okay, that's interesting. That'd be mechanics.
Okay, I'm gonna spend down 2 for this, I think. And where did I have that? Right. And that's a 13.
Okay. Yeah, you clip wires on a couple of them and kind of leave the hood open on the other one, like you got interrupted in mid-stride. Does that seem cool?
Yeah. And with that 13,
yeah.
like with that 13, could I manage to have also taken care of planting a bug on that last one that isn't broken?
Yeah, I like that. That seems fair. With that good a roll, I'm willing to give you that. Yeah. Henry, you kind of have gotten line of sight on what Carl has done, staying in position, or what are you doing?
I think I may be gesturing to Carl. That's his kind of, okay, job done. Time to go. Time to go. Bring your prisoner. Come on.
So Carl, do you want to fall back or you want to wait a bit and listen to what the other two guys in the barn are saying?
I think if there were 3 of them, they would probably notice pretty quick if one of them is missing. So so yeah, with this guy knockout.
Carl, make the player character decision.
What? Instead of going out with this guy, I probably want to just like step behind those guys who make with my assault rifle pointed at them, and it's like, gentlemen, let's have a discussion.
Interesting. All right. So let me check in with Peter and then we resolve that interaction. So Peter, I mean, you've got eyes on this situation as it goes on. What are you trying to do?
Yeah, I'm just looking for one of these guys getting twitchy, and yeah, he's going to get a 5-0 round, straight between his eyes. So yeah, I've just basically got Carl's back.
Okay.
Basically, I've got the rifle scope, looking over Carl's left and right shoulder. Basically giving him a force multiplier.
Absolutely. So I think you've got the drop on them. So if you want to essentially, questioning involves intimidation as well. If you want to do a spend from questioning, you can essentially get them to, hold up their hands.
Yeah.
So, and you can, because we have the look where you can see where Peter is, that glint of the sniper scope, he's assisting. Henry got one of the 3 down and he's got gun on the other 2. What do you want to do?
Go and get the one that's down.
Okay.
Drag him away.
Okay. I think we've already established that Carl has him out, so I don't think there's going to be any pull for that. What do you want to do? Are you like trying to get him back to your vehicle, or?
Yes.
Okay, then I do want an infiltration roll from you,
Okay.
or evasion. Yeah, either one.
Yeah, I was
In the
afraid
same
you'd say
group.
that. I will spend I tell you what. If I spend if I spend one from tradecraft, I can refresh how many? How much?
You can, if you can tell me how that fits, then
Well, in
you
the
can
sense
spend
that-
3 points of general ability pool.
I suppose what I'm trying to leverage is that tradecraft is being a spy, and I think evasion is an aspect of that. So I'm hoping that I can turn a spend in tradecraft into something more to spend in physical.
Yeah. What do you imagine the training for like woodland survival or stealth was for you?
Oh, all across Buckinghamshire. There's not a woodland in Buckinghamshire I have not bivvied in.
Okay. Then I'll give you the 3 point refresh.
You're a generous man. Okay, then I will spend 2 of the 4 I'm now refreshed to roll evasion, I think.
Okay.
+2. Jesus God, I rolled a 5. It gets to 7.
It gets to 7.
He's got to come round, doesn't he?
So I think as you are moving towards the vehicles, because you're kind of coming, like looping around, you hear the crunching of gravel and you see headlights coming down the road.
Company.
Carl, you got it. What do you want these 2 guys to do? Look over your shoulder. You see Henry's taking the 3rd away.
I think Carl is speaking to them in Romanian, because I think we established that those are probably some Romanian operatives.
Yeah.
And Carl says, quick questions. I don't like the answers. I pull the trigger. Marta Ozirut?
Ozjuk. It's we spelled it OYZ Ozyrt. OZYT. And they look at you, and this first guy goes, "Motherfucker, you have no idea what you've stepped in. If you've got her, you bring her to us, or you don't have any idea what kind of hell you're going to get."
So tell me.
We got people everywhere. You think you're going to get out of Bucharest? If you're here, so we already got the rest of your guys rolled up. If you're here for the fucking priest, you can take his bloody body with you. But you're not getting out of here alive.
So where are the others? Where do you get where do you got my people?
And he shuts up in that way that says to you that like he's pretending like he's being real stoic, but he kind of doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
No, like I tell you, you're better off. You drop your guns. We talk. We'll take you inside. You bring her to us. You get money, lots of money.
Okay. Why should I bring her to you? What do you want with her?
And there's this look of like they don't know. These are the orders they've been given, in that way that they are like, it's what the boss said. It's what we were told. It came down from on high. It came from the Nashu, which is Romanian for Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the point at which you'll hear we have company. Let's cut to Peter, and then we'll come back to Viola. Peter, you get that thing through your comms, so you are ready when you see another one of these vehicles driving slowly, because this is not a great road, so they're not coming particularly fast.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think spin round with a sniper's rifle, polarizing sniper's rifle, try and get through that windshield straight to the driver.
absolutely.
I think these are the Lupatori. I think that's been given away. So yeah, I'm more than willing to take that vehicle's driver out. Hopefully, he'll career off the road.
Then let's have you roll shoot.
Shooting, I'm going to spend 2.
Okay. I'm going to say, because you said that you were set up, you're waiting here, I'm going to give you advantage. So if you
Okay.
want to change your spend at all, you can feel free to do that.
Yeah, if I'm rolling 3 dice, I will only spend 1.
Okay.
So let me just, in fact, I won't put any modifier on it. I'll just roll 3 dice and then we'll add run. Here we go, rolling the bones. We've got a 5, a 1, and a 5. So I'm going to pick the 2 5s, add 1, gives me 11.
So there is that crack, that distinctive crack of the sniper rifle that will echo across this, birds go flying up. But what we see is the inside of that windshield go red and mocha as the guy in the passenger seat with the coffees just throws them up, and the car just into a tree there, and it shakes against that, and that's a lot of noise. Viola, what do you want to do?
So where am I in relation to this car that's coming up now?
So you move towards the house and over to where they had their vehicles hidden. So the house is to your east. Your car with Peter is to the south, and past that, further south, is that other car, which has been rendered temporarily inoperative.
Yeah, I guess then that I'm going to try to make it over to our cars, and I think I'm probably pull out a holdout pistol or something like that, and I'm trying to lay down a bit of cover fire as I make my way over there.
Cover fire at the house?
I thought at like the approaching cars.
Well, it's just one car, and
Okay.
the guys, the driver's been essentially rendered not part of the equation any longer.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, I don't, unless I actually hear gunfire coming from in the house, I'm not going to start laying down cover fire there.
Okay. So you're just making a run back for your car.
Yeah, like I'm not sure if, like, I can't think of anything else I would want to do in this.
Sure. I mean, where your position is right now, you are still undercover. So if you wanted to remain in position, you could keep an eye on the house for anybody that came out, or you can make your way back to a more safe place.
Sure. I guess I'd actually keep an eye for anyone coming out, and if it's any of my team, I'm gonna make contact with them.
Okay. So let's figure out what Henry's doing, and then we'll come back to Carl. Henry, you give that, and then there's just like a 2-second delay, and then the sound of the sniper rifle and the.
And now, of course, anyone in that car, their attention is going to be towards the farmhouse.
Absolutely.
Anyone at the farmhouse is going to have attention on the car.
Absolutely.
And therefore, that's perfect cover for me to just take our prisoner to our cars.
Okay. I think if you're doing that, I don't think there's going to be any roll. Grab them and run them up towards that. Carl, you hear the crack of the sniper rifle. You hear a car hitting a tree, and almost immediately hear voices from inside the house. And these two guys are standing there like everyone's, they've dropped their guns, but they're on trigger here. What do you want to do?
Yeah. So Carl shoots the first one, but it's not a little shot. It's probably. I think Carl knows how to shoot a man to be just wounded and not dead. If he
Okay.
gets medical attention, he will pull over. So he shoots one of them and he aims at the other and he says, "Who knows where are my people?"
Sinclair.
Where do I find Sinclair?
He's back in Bucharest.
Number, location.
Give me a questioning spend. Like clearly you hit the point where he's like super reluctant to speak. And he says, Ardzatsky, he's a safe house on Ardzatsky, the 34.
Yeah.
And now you're hearing, now that there's a gunshot from the barn, you hear the sound of trained people starting to move out of the house. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I like rifle butt, knock out the last guy.
Okay.
And then I'm going to stay at the relocate to the side of the barn and take a look at my team. Does anyone need a cover fire? And then I'm probably going to go for the forest and meet with the team on the road or something like this.
Door comes open, like a window gets shattered, and they've clearly got some vision stuff, and assault rifle fire opens up essentially towards your position where you're at, Peter, right now. So can I have you make an evasion roll for me?
Certainly. Looking if I need to spend something. Yeah, I'm going to spend 1.
Okay.
In evasion. So here we go. 2 dice with a modifier of 1. 8.
So I think that you kind of go to maybe move to get off of the roof of the car and get under cover, and get yourself to a better position. But this withering fire, and you're locked down in position right this second. Like you're having to duck and keep yourself steady. And certainly, Alan, you can hear the comms on this guy's thing going up. Vehicle front, we've got 1 target. We've got another target moving through the woods, maybe 2. But they got a team,
And that's when, in brisk Romanian, I speak into his comms and say, assuming we are to the south, there are 8, I repeat, 8 operatives and vehicle approaching from the north.
Interesting. I think that will be appropriate for this. I think cool, cover, either one of those to fool them here on this.
Okay. Given that I've not rolled above 5 all day, I'm going to spend 2 operational. That's a 10.
It's 10. Yeah. Carl, I mean, you can, and you probably grabbed their comms so you can hear, and Henry's voice. Suddenly, front fire out of the house ends, and they're clearly shifting position. Viola, you can, at that moment, you can make it up to the car where Peter is at, if you want.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. So you can get up there, and get set into that. And Peter, you can roll into the vehicle if you want.
Yep.
So the only question is, Carl, do you want to make a break for it?
I think I'm going to use this opportunity and just like go from the barn to the forest, and then try to meet with the team going through the forest to some road, pull some GPS, and
Yeah, I think you're one person You're moving out. They've been seriously misdirected by Henry's. They're checking out that way. By the time you, are gotten over to the car, they've, maybe they've started to switch back, but you can grab a pickup, and the team can fall back from this. You'll definitely hear some squawking, and then as they check the barn, frequencies get changed. Viola,
So semi-professional.
yeah, Viola, you'll before that happens, you'll definitely hear through the comms. They got to our vehicles, and they're one of them's working, and then there's change frequency. Somebody calls Sinclair, and then that'll kind of cut off. But they clearly don't come after you because they've got vehicles down. And we will see you pull back down that road, turn around, and I assume get out of Dodge, as they say.
Yes.
I would like Henry to make a phone call.
Yep.
I'd like to spend 2 from preparedness to give my contacts in Bucharest the address we have for Sinclair.
Well, what is he? What do we need to hold down? What's the call?
I just need to know where he's going.
And you'll get. They'll say, okay, we'll sit on it. And as it rolls into the 3-4 in the morning, you're driving back to Bucharest. You've got one of these guys held prisoner. You've got the location of Sinclair, and you have certainly raised their ire. They only saw one of you, but they know there are others, and they can start putting 2 and 2 together from the drive and things like that. And I think that's where we should stop. So between sessions, you can take another essentially rest. You can refresh an investigative point and 3 general points. You can trade any one of those out to reset one of your talents.
Will we need to re-spend for the safe house to keep it safe?
No, that's established already. Yeah, so safe house is in there, all set. Good.
Wow. Lots of potential, too few points.
That's sort of the real ringer of Gumshoe when it's clicking. But this is where we'll look at the points when all is said and done about how much we need to adjust, whether refresh needs to get upped or not. But we'll talk about that. If you don't mind, I wouldn't mind doing a quick stars and wishes so that we can follow up and direct. I hope we can close out this sort of arm of the mission next time. We've got the church, we've got Sinclair. You know about the Rosewater thing. You know that there are at least two other members of the trio who are in the wind. Given what Carl found out, you're pretty sure that Loretti is no more, and that he was at the location. Pavel, thoughts, stars, wishes, things you want to see?
I will take the last turn. I need to
Sure, yeah.
to refocus now.
Oh, okay, absolutely. Stephen, what about you?
Yeah, in terms of stars, I enjoyed the whole going in on the setting up a fake hospital thing. I thought that was a great little scene there. I appreciated, Paul, your kind of pulling together and getting us all focused on like and kind of doing that, getting us all to do that refresh for everyone about what our leads are, which was very helpful. And I thought that we open on kind of a intense action scene, on a kind of tense scene that what like I appreciated that it was this very tense, that there was this kind of very action scene that was very like what might be the right word, like it felt like a very it felt like it traced that line between spycraft and horror very well. Like that's so I appreciated that, Lowell. Um, and and just Carl just going in with the assault rifle to question folks. I hadn't anticipated that's what you were planning, Pavel. So that was fun.
It was a good move, yeah.
Yeah, and in terms of wishes, I still like I'm still like trying to figure out like where we can get like an end to actually like figuring out what kind of vampire we're facing. Like I can't see any of the leads right now. Like I guess trying to figure out who gave the rosewater flask because they might have a sense. Like so I guess trying to actually figure out what this vampire is my big wish. Because right now we have a lot of like the various factions at play, but we don't actually know how to kill this thing.
Right. No, I think that's a fair thing. You are pulling on some of those threads to get a better picture of what this is and how they operate. And there may be other Renfields like her around, and that may be a good source of info as we go along. Paul?
You know, I really liked how nobody really stepped on anybody else's shoes. There's a lot of play between the characters. You know, people have all got their unique skills, working well as teams or sub teams. Carl and Pavel for Sydney Bonds. Who doesn't like a nice coffee in Sydney Bond, even if it is at 1 a.m. Always appreciated. Some just great play in characters in their niche areas, but then everybody opening up, coming in for the big win. And for you, Lowell, pacing I thought was really good. Ending on, a bit of action. That's always a good place to end. Finish nicely on time. Good bit of combat. Who doesn't like combat in an RPG? It's always good.
Anything wishes wise?
Just more of the same. Let's. It's getting wider now. I'm sure. Your plan is to narrow it up. To come to a conclusion. I'm sure. You've got that all in plan.
I hope.
Yeah.
Alan.
Stars. I thought that was a great opening sequence, Lowell, that you set up for us. Lots of interesting choices. Do we go with do we go with busy and potential collateral? Do we stay, on the minor roads? And the arrival of the flying vampire, tearing doors off, I think gave us I think probably it's why we've been slightly reticent since. So that was good. I appreciated Paul kind of saying, okay, look, focus. I thought that was Mr. GCHQ in a nutshell. Those would be our particular stars. Wishes, I think that since the priest I wanted is now dead, I want the biochemist.
Okay.
I thought the biochemist was dead. Loretti.
No, Loretti's the priest.
Julier is the biochemist.
Oh, okay. Yep, my mistake. Got it written wrong.
And okay. I want to kill Sinclair.
Absolutely. We will get Sinclair in your sights, I think, next time, most assuredly. You've certainly upset his plans throughout this whole evening, and he would like to get you in his sights. Pavel.
I really liked the action. I really like that everyone had their space. I really like the action. My character fits very well over here. I feel like I'm having a lot of fun. Wish-wise, I'm completely lost in what is happening and who is who and what is what. So I don't know. Maybe at the end I will finally understand it. So far I'm going with the flow.
Okay. One thing I might do between now and next session is like grab a tab and like pull together the facts that we have established as a kind of summary, and that might help too. It's certainly I need to do that for myself from time to time. So yeah, I'll do that, and we'll see if that helps. My plan is probably tomorrow is I'm going to put up sessions for the first quarter of next year for playing this. I will send you all the links, and you are welcome to sign up. You'll have right of first option. If you don't want to, you can say, no, okay, that's enough of that. Or if you want to sign up, and if you decide later on that you're like, I don't want to do this for 3 months, you're welcome to do that. But we'll send those on to you around this time tomorrow, if that's okay. And I'll leave that choice in your hands. I enjoyed it. I had a very good time. I love problem solvers. I love problems presented and people working through that. And I love all of you working in your niche. Let's not forget that Viola has that bug on the third vehicle, and we definitely need to roll that into play, because now you've got 2 points of information and 2 trackable bugs in Sinclair's organization. So that should allow you to get a grip on them. All right, well, I'm going to stop recording.